Hey, welcome back. Thanks for following along. For those of you just tuning in, this is off-road stuff, just like the name implies. And today is going to just be kind of a little quick, I guess, catch up on the trailer, so to speak. So I went out, did a little job, or a couple little jobs, and that box right there, you guys can see that black box. So the lid opens up, and then you can kind of see the door right there folds down. That's where I've been trying to put all my tools and supplies and everything in there, and it is jam-packed. So I need a little extra room, so I went on to old Marketplace and found me, let's get you in here. Can you guys see that? Let me stand on this side. I think the sun's kind of, is that any better? So I found this box on there, got a really good deal on it. Nothing real fancy, just a nice little aluminum box. So I got her mounted in there. It's a couple bolts. They're just down here on this frame part right here. But one thing that I realized, and I knew this as I was mounting it, I knew I was gonna have to do something, is right there. That's the exhaust for the welder. And it basically points right here on the back of the box. Now granted, there's about a foot in between the two. In theory it should be all right. I've kind of put my hand out there while it was running before I put the box on, and it didn't seem to be too hot, but I just figured over time that box might be getting kind of hot, and depending on what I got in there, you know, I don't want things to get hot if I got some, maybe like some paint or I don't know, whatever in there. So I was trying to figure out what to do, because originally I really didn't want this box here for that reason. I was trying to fit it between here and back there, but I couldn't find anything unless I just went out and bought a brand new $300 or so toolbox, which I really didn't want to do. So I got an idea. Ta-da! So I found this piece. It was in the scrap pile at work, and this thing is gonna fit basically right here. A couple of bolts. We're gonna space it off about roughly an inch or so, just to kind of give a little barrier, so that set this down. So while this thing's running, I'm not getting that box hot and worrying about what's in there on the other side. So what do you guys think of my idea? Let's make this work. Alright, so yeah, I just drew out some lines. They're 2 inches off each edge, drilled 1/4 inch holes, and then what I'll do is I'll show you. We're going to go set this up against the box so I can mark all the holes and drill them. I just remembered, I think I'm going to put one right here in the middle, just to kind of help make sure this thing doesn't flutter around and stuff, just because. Probably don't need it, but you never know. Gonna set this right up here. Take my drill. my little marks. I'm gonna change bits and get these guys drilled out. Hey, there you guys are. Okay, so what we're gonna do to get our space here is we're using this quarter 20 bolt. This is what they call full thread, or I guess, yeah. So most times you only get about an inch worth of thread, and then you have the like a blank shoulder. But I wanted these ones so I could run it through. And then I'm going to take this nut, I'm going to run it all the way up and use it as a jam, so that when I so I don't have to use like a sleeve type spacer. And then this will go, there'll be another nut on this side with the washer, and then it'll go through the box, and then it'll get another nut, a nylock, on the back side, and then I just run this up and kind of sandwich the material there from the box, so that'll keep it spaced out. Got it? Well, if not, just follow along. I'll explain it as we go. So let me get these guys finished up here, and then we'll move over and get this put on the box. I know this ain't the most exciting thing, but some of y'all viewers reached out and said, hey, why don't you actually show us these things that you're doing and how you're doing it, versus just telling us what you did and how you did it. So here we are. Oh, you guys may have noticed that I had these nuts pre-threaded on these bolts. That's because when I go to the hardware store, let me make sure. So the reason why those nuts were pre-threaded on here, I only bought 5 of these bolts. I had bolts and nuts. I have plenty of nylocks and washers at home, so I didn't buy those. But I always run the bolts on to the nuts onto the bolts when I'm at the store, because sometimes these get mixed up in the bin, or I've had them where they've had a ding in the thread, and then you get home and you got one wrong nut, bolt, whatever, or something that doesn't work. So I just do that. That way I know when I get home it's all good. Alright, so what we're going to do here is, the first thing I'm going to do is just double check, make sure all my holes line up, and they don't. So let's try flipping it over, because I don't think this piece was square. This was, like I said, just a piece that I grabbed. Alright, so what's happening is, let's see if you guys can see this, these little diamond plates, when these bolts, they kind of hit on the edge of one of these little diamonds, these bars, so then it makes the bolt not be true square. So some of them have a little kick to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this jam nut a little bit so that I can kind of tweak these and get them into the hole, because they're off just ever so slightly. So time out. Okay, I think we got her fixed. So, oh, I lost the washer. So something like that. Alright, so you can see I just ran, let me get in here. I just ran these up flush so that they don't really stick out. I don't have no more sticking out than really necessary. So just got those. So those are tightened up against these. These are tightened up against these, and that keeps this from moving. All right, well, that was the long and short of the short project for the day, I guess. That was my idea. Just make a little heat shield and see what happens. So thanks for following along. Those of you just tuning in, thank you. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share with your friends, ring the bell for notifications, and most importantly, be safe, and we'll see you on the trail.